in high definition, simulcast on KGMB and KHNL. Live, local, connected at 5 o'clock. This is Hawaii News Now.
We begin tonight with breaking news. This is Teddy Monet, the accused murderer, who is still on the loose after escaping from the custody of OCCC officers this morning while being transported to circuit court. A massive island-wide manhunt is underway at this hour.
Monet's escape also caused more than 20 schools to go into lockdown. Jim Mendoza begins our team coverage. He is live at the circuit court building where this all went down this morning. Jim.
Oh, what a turn of events this morning, Sean. Yeah, we're standing right outside the back end of the circuit court building. Adult corrections officers were unloading 4 vans and taking the inmates out and getting them ready to go into the circuit court building. And that's when Teddy Monet made his getaway.
One of the inmates bolted and ran and escaped.
That's how Public Safety Director Ted Sakai describes Teddy Monet's getaway from the intake area at Circuit Court. He was being brought here for a court appearance. There are 4 transport vans, 30 to 40 inmates, and 8 adult corrections officers.
In that moment, you know, there was more than enough to distract the guard for that moment for him to get away.
A camera caught the getaway on tape. Sakai says one of the guards chased Monet up the driveway that leads to Reed Lane, but couldn't catch him.
He ran away from where everybody else was. So one officer gave chase, called for the second, and the second followed. But they just simply couldn't keep up with him. He had enough of a head start.
Monet is a suspect in a homicide last year. A man was found shot in the head at Kawainui State Park. He's jailed on second-degree murder charges at OCCC. His bail is set at $1 million. During the transport, he was handcuffed, but he wasn't wearing ankle shackles. The public safety director says he should have been.
We're not sure exactly why that happened, but we're investigating that. And we need to make sure that this protocol is followed at all times.
Monet was wearing civilian clothes and not a prison jumpsuit. This is the second escape from the circuit court building in 4 months.
When people really want to escape, they find a way to do it. That's all I can say. You know, it's really unfortunate. We don't like it. We're going to do everything we can. We're going to review our procedures, and we're going to do everything we can to prevent something like this from happening again.
Now, we're told that when Monet came up the ramp here and went across Reed Lane, he went into the parking lot of the Voyager Charter School right across the street, where we're told that he tried to hijack a car, but the driver resisted and he ran. Reporting live at Circuit Court, I'm Jim Mendoza, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you very much, Jim. And we continue our team coverage now with more on the search for the suspect.
Yeah, Teddy Monet was reportedly spotted at Kaka'ako Park shortly after he escaped this morning. Now, these are a few of the areas where the search was focused earlier today, which authorities are describing as Metro Honolulu. Mileka Lincoln joins us now live with the latest on the manhunt. Mileka.
Sean, the attempted carjacking here on Reed Lane is the only sighting officials are confirming of Monet since he escaped from custody. A second report, described as 75% likely, involves the suspected murderer heading towards Diamond Head. Now, whatever it is that you're doing right now, we invite you to take a look at your screen. This is the man authorities are searching for. 29-year-old Teddy Monet is of Puerto Rican descent. He's 5'9", 150 pounds. He has brown eyes and black hair. He was last seen wearing a black hooded sweatshirt and black shorts. You'll notice from his mugshot he has multiple tattoos, including a large skull on the left side of his neck.
This man should be considered dangerous. He may have access to a firearm or he may not, but in any case, consider him armed and dangerous, and they should call 911 immediately, not engage with him at all.
Yeah.
And I would make a case for any of his friends or associates that if they're considering harboring him or helping him in any way, that they not do so.
Authorities won't disclose any search area specifics, but we've learned nearly 24 deputy sheriffs, along with at least 40 officers from the Honolulu Police Department, including plainclothes officers, are involved in the search. Helicopter activity was spotted over the Punchbowl and Makiki areas. The Kewalo Basin area was also searched, but it appears authorities have concentrated their efforts on the Kaka'ako and Ala Moana area. Several police on ATVs were seen combing through the Ala Moana Beach Park. K-9 teams and heavily armed tactical units were also dispatched to search the Kaka'ako waterfront park. Now, authorities can't stress enough how important it is for anyone who believes they've spotted Mune to please call 911. If you happen to know where he may be heading or someone who may be helping him, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. Now, with more on the murder Mune is suspected of committing, here's Tim Sakahara.
Thanks, Milek. You know, police say Mune shot his friend in the back of the neck last July. Mune and 29-year-old Billy Falau were at Kauai Nui Marsh in Kailua. Mune had just been released from prison for stealing cars, and the Falau family let him stay at their Kaneohe home. They say 5 days after the murder, Mune continued to stay at the home, acting like nothing was wrong, until police arrested him for the murder. And as you can imagine, the Falau family was unnerved by the incident and say if Mune would kill a friend trying to help him, they fear what he will do when he's on the run. Now, hear from the Falau family coming up tonight at 6 o'clock on KGMB. Tim Sakahara, Hawaii News Now.
Okay, thank you very much, Tim. Well, as the manhunt intensified for the escapee, dozens of schools locked their doors and kept students inside for their safety.
They included public and private schools near downtown. A total of 27 schools were under lockdown throughout downtown Kaka'ako, Mo'iliili, and Makiki.
The Department of Education says Central Middle School and Royal Elementary initiated lockdowns at 9:45 this morning as a precaution, as those schools are close to Circuit Court.
In all, a total of 9 public schools were under a lockdown or went under heightened alert, but our list has more than 24 schools.
Several private and charter schools in the area also went into lockdown mode, again as a precaution while the search went on for the escapee.
And many of the schools had their windows and doors shut while police patrolled outside.
Now, this is what it looked like at Washington Middle School today. The scene very similar at Stevenson Middle School in Makiki and nearby Roosevelt High School. Meantime, at Lunalilo Elementary, parents were waiting to pick up their kids, and they just had to wait for them to be released. School was supposed to let out at 12:45 today. Students were finally released closer to 2 p.m.
The emergency condition has been cleared. Resume to normal conditions.
Knowing that, my child is safe, that's a good thing. But at the same time, it's crazy because there's, a person running around.
Although parents may have been inconvenienced by the release time, our whole priority was to keep the students safe.
Many of the other schools that were on lockdown released their students, most of them after the end of the regular school day. Well, another inmate escaped from Circuit Court. This was less than 4 months ago, but this one was under much different circumstances. Authorities say Darius Punimao waited until a guard wasn't looking, then pushed up a ceiling tile in an interview room.
He lifted himself into a narrow opening and crawled through the ceiling, and then he dropped down into a custodian's closet. Punimao made his way out the back door, but was caught a day later at the Pali Safeway.
Okay, now to a quick recap of our top story, the escape of an inmate that happened this morning while he was being transported from OCCC to Circuit Court.
Teddy Mune, an accused second-degree murderer, escaped at the court building in Kaka'ako just after 8 this morning. He was in the custody of OCCC officers who were supposed to transfer him to state sheriffs at the court, where he was scheduled for a pre-trial hearing. More than 20 schools were put into lockdown after the escape. Mune was wearing belly chains and handcuffs, but no leg shackles. He was also wearing shorts and a black hooded sweatshirt. I'll stay with Hawaii News Now for the latest on this breaking story. We'll have the latest updates both on air and online at hawaiinewsnow.com. A Navy training drill off Kaena Point ends with a sailor missing.
That's coming up next at 5 o'clock. Plus, more arrests made in a high-end credit card scam that happened in Waikiki.
And how much say does the city have in the battle between Kahala neighbors and Japanese billionaire Genshiro Kawamoto?
But before that, let's get a check of afternoon traffic with Danielle Tucker.
Thank you very much, Stephanie and Sean. The traffic going out to the west side is very slow. Here's the H1 freeway backed up from the airport overpass and Moanalua freeway just after the Middle Street overpass. It's bumper to bumper. Here's the Mango Cam. Very heavy traffic in both directions. From the home of the Blue Traffic Management Center, I'm Danielle Tucker with Quator 96 for Hawaii News Now. You're watching Hawaii News at 5, and we'll be back right after this.
breaking news we've been following all day. The manhunt continues for escaped murder suspect Teddy Monet. This morning, Monet had just arrived at Circuit Court when he ran off while exiting a van.
Monet was in civilian clothes and not in a prison jumpsuit. He tried to carjack a woman at nearby Voyager Charter School. So far, that's the only confirmed sighting on Monet. We have multiple crews covering this story, and we'll bring you breaking developments as they happen. Well, new details tonight in a search for a sailor who went missing near Yokohama Bay. Hawaii News Now has learned that the 34-year-old is a Pearl Harbor-based Navy SEAL who was on a training mission yesterday afternoon. During the exercise, he became separated from his unit in an open ocean swim drill off Kaena Point. The Navy, Coast Guard, and Honolulu Fire Department are working together in the search.
Police are tightening their net around a mainland ring that allegedly used bogus credit cards to rip off luxury stores in Waikiki and Ala Moana Center. 23-year-old Keneal Callender and 21-year-old Raven McCants, both of Brooklyn, New York, were arrested Monday, accused of using counterfeit credit cards at high-end retailers in Waikiki. Police say the two are linked to 5 other Brooklyn residents indicted earlier this month on similar charges. All 7 come from the same neighborhood.
We can say that they are part of an organized group, and this is what they do.
Callender and McCants were charged with second-degree theft and multiple counts of unauthorized possession of personal confidential information. Police say they expect additional charges to be filed.
Honolulu fire investigators are looking into the cause of a fire at the Wahiwa Botanical Gardens. It happened sometime before 11 o'clock last night inside a storage building that's on the property. It appears there was some damage to the contents inside the facility. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Well, in the history of neighborly disputes, Japanese billionaire Genshiro Kawamoto is reaching legendary status. Whether he's meant to bug his neighbors for years, he's spent millions doing it.
As Tim Sakahara reports, a solution in this war of the wealthy is difficult to find.
Real estate mogul Genshiro Kawamoto paid more than $500,000 in property tax in 2011, and he also paid more than $42,000 in fines. Now, while he contributes more than most to the city coffers, it's not just money, but weak laws that allow him to come away clean.
Genshiro Kawamoto knows how to protect himself from the sun and from persecution. Kawamoto owns 27 properties on Kahala Avenue. One was bought for $22 million and then demolished for a statue garden. Others were mansions that have been trashed, attracting more drug users than investors. Genshiro's plan?
By this summer, he's going to have everything in order.
On all of them? All 27?
About. That's his plan.
If he says that to you, he's not fixing up anything. You can watch it.
Neighbors are fed up, saying this type of neglect shouldn't be allowed anywhere, let alone on Oahu's premier street.
It's really ridiculous stuff. It's not art.
Even on the richest road, the city cannot cite for poor taste. But Kawamoto has been ticketed 64 times since 2005 for other things like letting weeds grow out of control and permit and safety violations.
Kawamoto has racked up $40,000 in violations for all his Kahala Avenue homes. He still owes $1,000 for overgrowth and litter from this property. This used to be a tennis court, by the way. But according to the city, he eventually pays off all his fines.
Is there anything else the city can do with Genshiro Kawamoto's properties?
I think the best tool we have are the ones that we have in place as far as imposing fines.
Since Kawamoto is an egregious repeat offender, his fines now start at the maximum amount of $2,000. But he, just like everyone else, gets 30 days to correct the problem to avoid further fines. And he does.
It happens, but he fixes it whenever there's an issue.
As for the trashed homes, technically, Kawamoto has boarded them up and made it unable to get into. So despite being ugly, it's not a public hazard. Neighbors argue his homes attract vermin and insects. The city says that's a Department of Health issue. Furthermore, the city says they can't treat Kahala any different than Kalihi.
Why not? You know, why not? He has bought up so much property. You know he's up to no good. You know his goal is to trash the neighborhood.
We know that the community wants increased enforcement action against him. However, like I said, we want to make sure that we treat every property owner fairly and consistently, regardless of the neighborhood they're in.
There's an effort by the City Council to raise the maximum fine from $2,000 to $5,000. And the state is also considering a bill that would let people sue other homeowners if their property value drops because of a public nuisance. The city could also go in and trim the weeds and fix the problems on its own, then bill Kawamoto, but it hasn't done that. Now, here's some perspective. The city has only 14 inspectors for the entire island. And while it's certainly not blighted, these pictures show the city has struggles keeping its own Honolulu Hale in order. So forcing a mogul to keep Kahala standards is a tall task, especially when he says it will be better.
And if there are changes, everyone will be happy.
Don't listen to what he says, listen to what he does. Actions speak louder than words, and his actions here has been to terribly blight one of the most beautiful areas in Hawaii.
And for a complete slideshow of all of Ginshiro Kawamoto's properties on Kahala Avenue, head to our website at hawaiinewsnow.com. Tim Sakahara, Hawaii News Now.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, the battle continues.
Absolutely. Well, you know, it was a good showing for Hawaii.
On the list of best beaches in the country, we'll have more next at 5. Hey, best weather on the planet, too. That's what Guy always says as we take a live look outside. He's going to have more in your forecast coming up.
And it was a windy, but it was worth it also. Check this out. Our viewer Jen says she found this Jackson's chameleon up at the Palipuka, and it was hanging on a branch. So she put her safety out of harm, put that little guy safely out of harm's way. Oh, that was nice. Thanks for sharing this shot with us on our website. We'll be right back.
From Hawaii's severe weather team, this is Hawaii Weather Now with Guy Huggy.
Rainbow weather this morning. Nice one popping up over Wa'ahila Ridge, and you know, had some nice shower activity as well. Aloha and good evening, everybody. And you can blame the showers on this disturbance. Now, the disturbance for now is kind of pulling away to the northeast, but the moisture is getting caught up in the trade wind flow, and that's why we had some scattered showers today. Now, this disturbance is expected to move back down and to the west and close in on the state sometime around Friday, and that means more showers expected, especially for those Windward and Mauka areas. Now, take a look at the radar, and you can see there were some scattered showers in most areas, and they have kind of backed off for now. But earlier today, over the last 12 hours, we had some pretty generous amounts, 2 inches in a handful of areas across the state. Fairly dry out towards Kealakekua. Molokai getting only a smattering of rain as well. But you can see we had a nice dose of rain today, definitely wetter than we've seen. And we are expecting more rain on Friday as that disturbance kicks back in and gets a little closer. But for tonight, damp conditions continue according to our forecast. And then tomorrow morning, more of the rain coming and developing from that disturbance. As you can see, it looks like most of the rain will focus in on the windward side of the Big Island. The yellow, of course, indicates slightly more intense showers. Now, again, we are expecting that disturbance to come back in on Friday and increase those showers. So we are in for kind of a wet stretch right here. And these showers are expected to linger all the way through the weekend. So get those umbrellas out. The winds are going to remain stiff and breezy as well. Take a look at the numbers. Still 37 miles an hour in Lanai City. So it's still very windy in many areas across state, and it's going to remain windy through the weekend. So it's going to be a damp night tonight with those scattered showers hitting those Windward and Mauka areas. Trade still breezy at 15 to 25 as they will be tomorrow. So we are expecting most of the rain tomorrow in the morning. Slightly drier conditions for the leeward sides by the afternoon time. And the high surf advisory is still on for the east shore at Sloppy Choppy and beat up a few feet overhead. A new boost is due into the country at about 5 to 7 feet. So it's going to be very windy for the next couple of days. Most of the rain again expected in on Friday, slowly drying up maybe the first part of next week. Tuesday for sure, more sunshine.
Okay, thanks a lot, Guy. Lucky we love Hawaii.
Absolutely. According to TripAdvisor.com, 4 Hawaii beaches are among the best in the nation. Maui's Kaanapali Beach topped the list at number 1. Lanikai Beach in Kailua came in at number 5. That was followed by Maui's Wailea Beach, and rounding out the top 10, it was Hanauma Bay on Oahu.
You surprised there, Keahi?
Well, it seems to me like it's mostly visitors and tourists who vote on those things. None of my favorite beaches made the list this year.
Neither did mine.
Yeah. You can keep it a top secret. Hey, what are you working on for us at 6?
Of course, we'll have new details on the search for escaped inmate Teddy Mune, including a false alarm report that sent officers into a busy Walmart. And ugly high school rumors with a modern twist. Anonymous Facebook pages are letting Hawaii teenagers say some terrible things about each other and their teachers. Is there any way to stop the online bullying? It's a story parents will want to see tonight at 6 on KGMB. The news at 5 returns after this.
And finally tonight, check this out. Take a look at this sea otter's cool tricks. His name is Eddie. He lives at the Oregon Zoo, and he impresses visitors by doing that with his mad dunking skills.
Yeah, believe it or not, Eddie turned 16 this year. Zookeepers taught him how to play to ward off arthritis. And apparently the slam dunking is great for his joints.
I know. He's even learned how to hang on the rim, just like the NBA guys.
Yeah, good job.
Yep.
Well, your only local news at 5:30 is coming up next.
Join us on KHNL with these stories. We'll have the latest update on the manhunt for an escaped inmate, plus this.
Fresh information is surfacing about the degree of cuts we face after a plunge off the fiscal cliff. I'll have it for you at 5:30.
And antioxidants may not make much of a difference when it comes to those suffering from stroke and dementia.
Here's a live look outside through our Crater Cam. Thanks for watching Hawaii News Now at 5 o'clock, but make sure you stay tuned because Hawaii's only local news at 5:30 begins in just 2 minutes on KHNL.